Okay, so first with control for I. Control for I, there are many controls and many things that you can find to check Windows or Linux or anything else, but not many to check and to monitor IBMI. The second point is that in those plugins, when you find plugins to monitor IBMI, like IBM, for example, announced that they have about 30 checks for Nagios and to check for IBMI. This is a Linux world, so these are Linux programs, and you have to enter a Linux command to check everything. So with a -L for the library, -S for the subsystem, etc. And if you want to test, you have to ask to the IBMI administrator to connect to a Linux system and try their plugin. It's not that easy because many people in IBMI world don't like to go to another kind of system like Linux. So what we did, we created commands, IBMI commands, and all those commands are allowed to check many things inside the IBMI. We have, comparing to the 30 controls from IBM, we have about 130, something like that. We created one only plugin to put in Nagios. So better than PowerPoint, I will show you how it works. I didn't select Nagios. We use internally Centreon, which is close to the same. Do you know Nagios, or do you know a tool like that?
The Nagios, yes.
That's a question. Okay, so if you know Nagios, you will recognize it looks exactly the same or close to the same. And the goal is to define services, so define controls. Here you see the controls, the services that are critical, so that are going wrong. And because the goal is to see the problems only in the base. If we want to see everything, we can select it here. And I will also select only our production system, well, production IBMI system. So here you see that there is one service, one control, one line for every single thing that I want to check. And it can be okay or critical, and it also could be warning. So with trouble, with an issue, but not that urgent. For this, we created one plugin, so only one program to install on Linux. And this plugin has one parameter, which is an IBMI command, one of our IBMI commands. So as an example, I will show you how to create or to include a new service, a new check in Nagios. For this, I will go to the IBMI partition. We have a menu for the product. In this menu, so that's a library to install, and there's a menu. And in the menu, this is the sub-menu where you have the exploitation commands, so the management commands, start and stop the subsystem, so the agent, and things like that. When we install the product, we have to start one subsystem, this one, with an agent, and the agent is there to wait for the demands from Nagios. It waits on an IP address and on the port, and every thing that Nagios asks is sent to this agent. So this has to be active, and all the rest is in the command that we give here. For the first command, I will use, well, it's in menu option 10 in the job controls. You see here a command to check if a subsystem is active. So I can check a subsystem, F4. I just will want to check if QBatch is active. I could also check if QBatch is inactive, is stopped. When I press enter, there are additional parameters because I can check if QBatch is active, but I also can check if jobs are active in the subsystem or the number of jobs running, etc. So I can add some details, big details to it. If I just want to check for QBatch, I press enter, and the answer is that QBatch subsystem is active. Okay. The first thing is that if you are talking to an IBMI administrator, he will understand those commands. The second is that he will be able to try the command and try new parameters and change everything. So have the exact command that he wants you to use. When he found this exact command, what he will have to do is, at this time, is to take the command, copy, so Control-C. Now come back to Centreon, Nagios, or send this information to the guy or to the team that is working with Nagios. And they will have to create a new service. So I go in the configuration. There I will add a new service.
Étalon.
That's what
On t'entend.
that's what I wrote.
On t'entend qu'un mot.
Okay. So I create a new description, which is the name of the description that you want to use. I have to select the partition. Here I have several partitions. I just select this one. I have to give a template. The template is only there to give a default value to most of the information. For example, with this template, I don't have to say who will receive an email and when they will receive an email or many other information. They are in the template. And then I give the Nagios command, so the name of the plugin. Our plugin is check control for I. And this plugin has only one parameter. That's an IBMI command. There I enter Control V. So I paste the command I had before. And that's all. All the rest is configuration from Nagios or Centreon. In our case, I have to select the check period. So I say all the time. I can change many other things that's inside Centreon or inside Nagios or the tool you prefer. Okay, this is done. I have some technical operation to do to accept this change. So I export the configuration that's internal to Centreon. Okay, and it will reload everything. That's done. Now, if I go back to the services, if I look at all the services, I can see the check from QBatch that I created. It's pending, so it never runs. And we just have to wait a few seconds. And in a few seconds, it will refresh. That's it. And now it says that QBatch subsystem is active. And here is an ID. That's a message ID. If I press F1 here on the same message, you can see that this is the message ID that we use inside the product. Okay, all this shows that it's very easy to say to IBMI people to create services and to check, to monitor their IBMI partitions with Nagios, Centreon, PRTG, or any kind of product like this. We deliver many commands, about 40 commands, something like that, to check if subsystems or jobs are running. We also can check if one individual job is active or not. We can check if a batch has been active during the night. So here we give the name of the batch job, and we say between this job normally has run between today at 2 a.m. and today at 5 a.m. So we will check that in this period of time, there has been one job with this name. And we also could check that it ended with an end code to 0. So it ended without error. So we can check that kind of things. We can check if there are jobs in message wait. So we look in a work active job if there are jobs in message wait. We can look in all the subsystems or only a subset of subsystems. We only look for errors, jobs in error. We don't consider the jobs that are in for which the message wait status is the normal status. Those, they are not in error, so we don't care for them, etc. We also have the same command for the lock wait with kind of close to the same parameters, etc. Check the out queue if there are many spools or not. The same for the job queues, etc. You can check for backups with BRMS or without BRMS. You can check for the CPU and the disk. For the CPU, for example, you can check the system CPU, work system status, and check the percentage of CPU that is used. But we also can give the name of a subsystem and say that you want to check the CPU used by the jobs inside one single subsystem or a list of 10 subsystems. So you can have subsets and not only check the CPU of the overall system. You also can check the data queues, the work PRB, so you can check if there are hardware problems, etc. And you can check high availability program commands, check quick VDD status or mimics. And as you can see, there's one of those products that is more complex to configure than the other one. So there are more complex checks, but they are there. We also have a lot of checks for M3. M3 is an ERP, or the old name is MoveX. And if your customers use M3, we also can check many things inside M3, looking at the grid or the server view, or some commands to check inside the M3 database. So, and I'm not finished. We also have specific commands to check the library size. So we can check if the libraries are bigger than the limit or not, and the evolution of those sizes, and check if and have a control here inside. You can see that for these sensitive libraries, it's critical because there's one library which is bigger than expected, and this library is CTL4i, as you can see here in the result. And also, we can control or read the message queues. For example, QC software. And in QC software, we can define messages and say, if this message is coming, then it will create a warning address. If this one is coming, it will create a critical address. If any other message with a severity bigger than 40, because that's in the parameters, it will be a warning error, except for those two that we omit. And for every definition, we can say, for example, in this one, we say it's warning, it's for any message, for the severity bigger than 40. And we also could say just for one job or just for one user, or if the message has this specific text. And then for every message, we can define an automatic action and say, if this message comes, then I will add an action and I will say, for example, give an automatic answer, and the answer, for example, if that's the message to say that the file is full and no record can be added, then you can say, okay, I answer 99 and I answer it 6 times. So from occurrence 1 to 6. Otherwise, we can call a command and type any command here to say, to do something else. Okay? So this is very quickly how Control4i is working. Is that okay? Do you have any question?
From my side, it's okay.
This is Laszlo Mesar. I have a question. Does it mean that using this program you have to install a library to ES4 each one, which controls by, and the control is controlled by a Linux application? Am I right?
You're right. You have to install the library on every partition.
Yes.
One library to install and the job to start. Mm-hmm. That's once the first installation is done with the control, the plugin in Linux, in Nagios. Mm-hmm. Once the first is done, to add a new partition, it's 10 minutes.
Okay, well, so I understand. So that it means that there is an agent running in an ES4 and sends the information to the Nagios partition, where you have the possibility to customize the warnings. For instance, you can send emails or any other possibilities, SMS or something else. Am I right?
In fact, there's nothing to customize inside the partition, or close to nothing inside the partition. Everything is done in this tool, in Nagios Centreon. If you want to send SMS, that's there.
Yes, so I was too quick, sorry. So I thought that in a Linux partition you have the possibility to send SMS or email or any other warning to selected users.
From inside the partition, you mean?
No, in the Nagios side, in the Linux side, which is that there is only the monitor. The only way you have received messages, or there is a possibility to send messages or SMS or mail or anything else.
Yes, in Nagios you have the notification part.
Yeah, that's all the question.
Who will receive an email?
Okay. Well, I know other monitoring tool, and that's why I'm asking it. The idea is the same. There is a partition, independent server running, and it controls different partition or different systems with an agent, and the focal point is the external application, which can run with Windows or in Linux, and he is the focal point, and he can provide the warnings further. Okay, thank you.
That's it.
That's it. It's clear.
Pascal,
Okay.
just one more thing. You didn't speak about the possibility to create your own commands and your own checks.
Yes.
Yes,
Sorry,
he did.
forgot something.
He did. It was in part. We follow it.
Okay. But we provide a source. This is the library of the product. With the product, we provide a source file, and in this source file, we give an example of specific checks, so you can develop your own specific checks.
Okay, it's clear. Mm-hmm.
And that's a full example on how to do it. And in the documentation, we give a lot of details on how you can do it. And we can help you to do the first one. So if you have any program running now where you where the program says yes, no, it works, it doesn't work, then in half an hour you create a new probe in Nagios.